Hi, and thank you for your interest in the Time to Act discussion and practice group. In this video, I will explain the details of how we practice ACT skills as a group and how you can participate. I'm Linda Franchuk, the developer and facilitator of this group. I live in the U.S. in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm in the Eastern Standard Time Zone here where I live, and I have 2 times available for our group to meet, which I'll discuss at the end of the video. People who've participated in this group in the past have been from all over the globe, such as India, Berlin, Croatia, and across the East and West Coast states of the United States. I've tried to accommodate time zones as best I can across the globe for our sessions, and hopefully you can join in one of those times provided. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll discuss the purpose for the group, what we'll be doing in each session, and how you can participate. I would call myself an extremist, and maybe you can relate to this. I'm someone who has an extreme number of ACT books, files, resources, and who family kind of avoid conversations about my work, if you will. And you can see the number of books I have here. I probably have more than this. You may be able to, again, relate to having a lot of ACT things. But what I found is early on, and I'll discuss a little bit of this as we go, I was reading a lot about ACT, but I was really desiring to do more ACT, to actually do it and stop reading about it. So I will get into that in a bit. My experience is I'm a board certified behavior analyst, and basically what that means, if you've not heard that term before, is I'm someone who is extensively trained in the area of applied behavior analysis, which is the foundation of ACT. I have been in education for over 20 years and am a supervisor for those in training to become board certified behavior analyst. Here in Pennsylvania, we are not licensed yet. So I have had to, most states are licensed, let me put it that way. So in my state of Pennsylvania, I had to also become a licensed behavior specialist in order to partake in some consulting and other work that I do. I'm also a consultant, coach, and trainer. That was my past work for the Pennsylvania Department of Ed. I no longer do that work, but I do consult and work as a trainer still in my private business. I have a master's in education, and I am a certified teacher. I also, because of my interest in health and wellness and something called functional health, if you're not familiar with that term, that just means looking at how you move, eat, sleep, and de-stress in your environment and how that supports your health and wellness. I took a year-long program to learn how to become a coach for functional health, and with my behavior analytic background, started to transition into more health and wellness and coaching. I am also a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. So after I've completed my program as an ADAPT certified functional health coach, I went back for additional certification and became nationally board certified. And basically in the area of coaching, it's kind of like the Wild West right now. And in order to really help the general public understand that you are, what's the word I want to use, that you've been highly trained in that area, you can become certified, especially certified in a couple credentialed areas. And one is the International Coaching Federation, and the other is the National Board Certification. So these kind of help the general public know that you've gone through extensive training and have a legitimate coaching background, if you will. Because I'm a BCBA, I have also become credentialed to approve Type 2 continuing education credits. So if you are a behavior analyst and you are looking to get credits from this group, you can. I'm providing 1 credit per session. And so if you are interested in that, please reach out and let me know if you are participating in this group. So this is kind of how I view my ACT background, if you will. It's like climbing a mountain, and maybe you can relate to that. I started with just taking reading, right, and taking some courses from John Hill and Joe Oliver. They have a website called Contextual Consulting, which is great. If you've not looked into it, you might want to. So I started with acceptance and commitment coaching, a webinar that they were offering. And it really was great. It started to open me up to what I could do with my coaching career. Because I was a behavior analyst, I really wanted to become an ACT coach. And so using ACT as my model and basis for coaching. I also took their 100 key ACT points and techniques webinar, and our relational frame theory made simple by Joe Oliver and Richard Bennett. Again, all of these programs were phenomenal and helped me build some foundational skills for my coaching model. I went to a 4-day ACT boot camp, and if you've not done this, now that maybe COVID is, mandates are getting relaxed, I believe these may be opening up again, by Stephen Hayes, Kelly Wilson, and Robin Walser. It was a phenomenal experience, 4 days, live sessions using and learning about ACT. And so that's what prompted me to start this group. I've also completed ACT Depression and Anxiety, the course online by Russ Harris, ACT in Grief and Loss by Russ Harris, and the Happiness Trap course online. And I did the Happiness Trap course because I was getting a lot of clients, right, with depression and anxiety, and ACT is just been a great program for them in relationship to coaching. And so I took the Happiness Trap because I wanted to send some of my clients there and then also offer them coaching as they were doing the program. So I wanted to do it myself, and it is, again, a very, very, very good program. Of course, Russ only does quality programs, so if you're not familiar with Russ, please look him up. I'm a member of the Association of Contextual Behavioral Science, and I am a member of their ACT coaching special interest group. And so I've been active in that as much as possible over the past couple years. So I've been running this group for 1.5 years already. And what really makes it unique is that we all come from different backgrounds, the individuals who are in this group. And we have been able to increase our skills related to ACT tenfold. We just increased the depth and breadth of what we were all learning on our own in different areas, and we came together and started really practicing and digging into the concepts, protocols, metaphors, handouts that you can do with clients, and we also discussed some challenging cases. We practice implementing ACT in a safe and nurturing environment. So the group is, I run it just like a coaching session. It's confidential. What we discuss in these groups is confidential. It's a safe and, again, judgment-free zone for us to practice. We receive and provide meaningful feedback amongst ourselves and our peers. So in this group, there are all kinds of backgrounds. We have psychologists, behavior analysts, coaches, licensed practitioners in all walks of life. And so we're all looking to practice to learn more about ACT, but also to start using it with our clients because we know the benefits. So we're networking across and within disciplines and also locations because people are all over the globe. That's really been an asset to see how other people in other countries are implementing ACT with their clients. Again, we're gaining knowledge across disciplines. We have all, again, clinicians, all types of practitioners, and so we get to hear how they're using it with their clients, and also we get to share ideas across those disciplines. And it's been a lot of fun. It's very structured, but we have a lot of fun in this group. So what has this done for us? Well, it's prevented us doing experiential avoidance, right? Talking about ACT versus doing ACT. And that's what you can find yourself doing if you're with clients. You tend to maybe talk about it more because you're not you don't want to kind of make yourself vulnerable and be doing it with them, right? You feel like you have to be the expert. And so this format has allowed us to practice and get a little more familiar with some of the things that we find in ACT so that we can deliver them to our clients with more confidence. Again, it built confidence with using ACT. It normalized our experience with clients, and as practitioners, we were finding that, yeah, I felt that too, or yeah, I kind of had that happen with a client too. So you stop feeling like you were on an island using ACT. It provided, again, a space for us to share our visions and commitments about our own lives and how we use ACT in our own lives, not just with our clients, and how we could come together, talk about business ideas that we had as well related to ACT and how we wanted to implement it with clients. And we got to experience ACT from the client's perspective, just not the practitioner's point of view. So I got to know, we all got to see what it felt like to be having some of these ACT protocols and metaphors delivered, and what we then would discuss afterward about that. The group structure, it is a 90-minute duration. I use Zoom for this particular format. We open with a 1 to 3 minute mindfulness, again, just to get the group opened up and get us present for the session. We do a chapter review with the ACT Made Simple book, and that's what I'm using by Russ Harris to guide the group. So we'll do a chapter review, any kind of handouts that I might have given, and we spend about 20 minutes, 25 minutes on that. And I'll go into more about using this information, and you'll see that. We'll clarify what the partner practice is. I have breakout sessions. We have partner practice related to the chapter that we've been working on. And we'll clarify that, what we're going to do in that breakout session for about 3 to 5 minutes of our main session, so that when we go into that breakout session, we're not kind of fumbling around, wasting time that we could be spending working with our partner. Partner breakout sessions look kind of like this. You go into a breakout room for approximately 30 minutes. We'll do a mock scenario, again, based on the content of the chapter that we're working on. And one person acts as the therapist or the coach or the practitioner, if you will, and the other acts as the mock client. After we're done, the mock client gives some feedback to the mock coach or therapist, and then we take a little time to just reflect. And if there's a third person, which there typically isn't, I usually stand into that role. If there is an odd number of people for that day, you can choose who wants to do what during that in your group, but typically there will only be 2 of you. Then you switch. The person who is the coach is now the client, and you would then practice your, sometimes it's the same scenario, sometimes it's a little different. It depends on what we're working on in that particular session. You're monitored your time so that each person has the same amount of time for your practice and feedback. Then we come out of that breakout and we reshare with the whole group, and this is kind of where I feel like the magic happens. We highlight things that we got out of our practice and also that we got out of being the client in that session, and then we talk about how we use that in our own practice. So again, we're all from different disciplines, so how I might use that in my practice as a coach, I have to stay within my role, and how a therapist might use that in their practice versus a psychologist. And so there's just a lot of just gems that come out of this part of the session. And then I'll summarize the big points or the big ideas that came out of this session, and then we close the session. That takes about 1 to 5 minutes. I'll verify what's coming up in the next session's content for about 5 minutes, ask for any feedback on practice or what people would like to do. And then occasionally I might throw in a poll in or out of class. There are always reflecting questions provided in the bi-weekly materials. And then I post the next session's content, so you have exactly 2 weeks to be looking at that and preparing for the next session. Then we all leave. We end the session, we go out and we do ACT. We adapt again and modify to your own scope of practice, to the type of clients' needs that you have and your professional delivery style. And then you come back and you share that with the group. There are times that we might be within the confines of HIPAA and confidentiality, talking about a case that's a complex case that someone has. We all might have some ideas of things that that person could try. That person might come back and then talk about what they've tried in that session. And that's been very successful, I must say, for many of us. My responsibility as the facilitator of this group is I provide the platform. I use Zenler for my platform, and you will get you enroll there, you get a private link to the group, and then you get access to the bi-weekly sessions materials. You also get a community platform. It's a private community platform within Zenler that you can drop into, where we can share things between sessions. So I'll organize the content, post the session materials. I post links, any kind of related research that might be for that session, podcasts, things that I know that someone might be interested that's in the group. I might direct some materials to someone in the group once I get to know you a little bit better. And then I facilitate the session so that we can keep everything on time and within the boundaries of the group, and I hold the safe space. I have group guidelines, which you are review with me, and then we all go over those group guidelines so that we know what the boundaries are for the group. And then if you have an area that you would like to teach, or you have an area of expertise, but you're like, I don't have a safe space to kind of do this, but I'd love to practice this with someone, all you have to do is let us know. We'll kind of take a vote by the group, and it could be inside the session or outside the session. If you just want to run a little beta test with our group, you can do that. And then we partner within the group. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in the group. We all come together as peers. I use the Act Made Simple second edition by Russ Harris to run this group, so you must have this book in order to participate. He has something called additional resources called Extra Bits. I post the links from every chapter that we're using in this book, so you don't have to be searching around the extra bits for this information. I'll post it with the session that or the chapter that we're working on. If there's something additional, I also will be privy to that and post that. Again, any relevant videos, resources, podcasts to a chapter that you might be working on, I'll do that as well. People are welcome to share from the group. Again, any relevant trainings or workshops that might be going on that are relevant. And also, I love people who want to volunteer. So someone wants to volunteer for the mindfulness openings. If you want to practice some mindfulness that you might do with a client, but you haven't done it yet and you want to practice it in this group, this is the perfect place to do it. And then if someone would like to practice facilitating, because maybe someday they want to run their own group, that's great too. Just reach out and let me know. I'm happy to work with you. It's all about us learning and growing together and learning how to be better with ACT. So right now I'm going to give you a little chapter review of what the first 3 months might look like. I shortened this because it was a little bit longer. So this is an example. So in looking at chapter 1 in Act Made Simple, the first chapter is called The Human Challenge, and the objectives of this chapter are to review and understand the foundations and purpose of ACT, review and understand the 6 core processes, that hexaflex, if you will, understanding the ACT triflex, and reviewing and understanding the choice point. We also review and look at how the choice point is different from the matrix. If you've been using the matrix or are familiar with that, we will also review that because this is an important point to know. And then we'll review how the hexaflex and the triflex processes map into the choice point. In this session, our group breakout will be explaining a choice point to your partner using the choice point materials. And you may do this any way you want. We had individuals doing it with whiteboards. We had some people just explaining it. We had others who had had their clients draw it out, or they emailed the materials. So really, however you want to do this with a client, this is the time to kind of practice it. And the client then, the mock client, can ask questions if they like. Again, we don't want to make this too difficult, because especially if you're not fluent with the choice point, we just want to give you an idea of what it might be like to have a client ask you a question. And as you're being the mock client, think of something that you might actually ask during this time and what that feels like to ask or answer a question. Let me go back. Sorry about that. The chapter 2, getting hooked. I'm not going to go into all the objectives. They're pretty long for this chapter. I just want to give you an example. The way I talked about chapter 1 is exactly how the objectives kind of look in the book. Chapter 2, there are numerous objectives, and we will spend 2 sessions on chapter 2 and maybe 2 sessions on chapter 1. It depends on the group and what they decide they would like. Chapter 2, we'll look over all the objectives, we'll review those, and then our breakout session will be the hands as thoughts and feelings metaphor, exploring workability in a session. This can be from reading, actually one of the transcripts that are provided in the book, or we could do the metaphor mind as a problem-solving machine analogy. So it's really up to you and your partner what you would like to practice in that breakout. Chapter 3 is mindfulness and other dodgy words. Again, we'll cover all the objectives just like I showed you in the example with chapter 1. And then our breakout session will be explaining in your own words the concept of mindfulness from the ACT perspective with your mock client. And then the mock client can ask questions to practice responding again to something that might come up as you're talking about mindfulness with a client. Again, we don't want to make this so challenging that you can't get your practice in, but just if this is the first time you've talked about mindfulness with a client, this will give you, or you haven't yet, this will give you some ways to do that. And again, you can make it as challenging or difficult as you'd like. Chapter 4 is get your geek on. Again, there are numerous objectives in this chapter, and this is really looking at the basis of the function of behavior and how to start spotting that in your client sessions. So you will, for the practice, download a printable version of the choice point, and then with your partner, you'll use the choice point to practice function spotting. So it's a great practice session. So in our first 3 months, again, that will be 6 sessions. We'll cover chapter 1 through 4 of the ACT Made Simple book, and then practice in there. Again, the group has some flexibility. I'm flexible with the group as to what they want to cover, where they want to spend most of their time, and we do it as a group. So how can you be part of this ACT community? One is you would need to purchase the ACT Made Simple 2nd edition book. We'll be working from this in our bi-weekly sessions, so you'll need to have that available to you. You'll need something to capture your insights, shares, links, information from that chapter. Lots of times there's some very interesting discussion and people are sharing lots of things, and you have these aha moments. You want to have something to take down information that's shared during those sessions. I will review the group guidelines with you at enrollment. We'll review these together, and they're also posted in the program materials. The payment is a 3-month period, basically a quarterly subscription. It's billed 4 times a year, and you can stop that at any quarter, so you're really only committing to 1 quarter. That again is billed 4 times a year, and that starts at the time of your enrollment. Basically, you are being charged $20 an hour for 9 hours. That's 6 90-minute sessions per quarter, and again, it's $180 USD. And you can enroll at any time. Your quarter starts at the time of enrollment. You will have access to a private one-time Zoom link available at enrollment. And also you'll have access to the private group page in the platform. There you can share information with other group members and communicate about your program. I also offer a bonus session because life is unpredictable, and so I want to honor your subscriptions. So I provide a bonus session each quarter. So in case you have to miss the sessions due to something that has come up unexpectedly, you'll have this session as a makeup. I offer this one Tuesday per quarter, and you can use it as an additional session. If you don't miss any sessions, you have an additional session, but if you do happen to miss a session, you'll have this as a makeup time. There's no additional charge for this session. It meets on a Tuesday outside of our bi-weekly Tuesday, and you can use it. It's basically an open forum, so you can come use that time any way that you'd like to with your group members. So again, we'll be meeting bi-weekly for 90-minute sessions on Tuesdays, as highlighted on the 2022 calendar that you see here. The highlighted dates in yellow are the dates that we are meeting. You can choose from 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have individuals from inside the U.S. and outside of the U.S., basically all over the globe, attending in the group. So these times tend to meet most of those global time zones. Also, here are two people who I included in here who are in the past group that's been running for the past year and a half. If you would like to just read over this, feel free. This will give you a little bit of an understanding of what has been important to them in this group and some of their takeaways. And here's a short video from someone in the group that wanted to share about their experience and kind of how they benefited from their participation.
So, hi, my name is Olof Ekman, and I'm a certified ACT coach, and I work with helping people change their habits and behaviors. And I've been a part of Linda's ACT teaching group in 2020 and 2021, and it was an amazing experience, and I can only recommend joining if you want to learn more about ACT, if you want to meet an amazing group of coaches, and if you want to have a structured way of working through this book that we were doing, ACT Made Simple. Linda is an extremely patient, ambitious, hardworking, loving, and very nice person to work with, be with, and she always makes sure to help create a really nice learning experience, and also create an experience for you to learn about yourself, not only these tools, but to learn these tools and apply them to yourself. And yeah, I've gained so much from being part of this group, and it's one of the best learning programs I've done in a long time. So thank you so much, Linda, and if you want to join, I can only recommend it. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Again, you can use the website link below, whaler.newzenler.com, to find out more information. The first bi-weekly session is posted there, so you can see the materials and content that we'll be covering. And then also you can call me if you'd like at 814-404-5198 if you have additional questions, comments, concerns, interest. Just reach out and let me know what you think and what you're interested in. I hope you can make it, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.